Second Lieutenant Bertie Carr, just 3 weeks out of training, prepares his troop for a major advance on Taliban positions.
It's my intent to occupy the key terrain of Roshan Hill, unknown left, and to hold this ground and protect friendly forces from the enemy threat to the north.
Meanwhile, not far away, Sergeant Major Rick Groves attempts to build bridges with local Afghanis in the other battle, the one being fought for hearts and minds.
Do you want some shampoo?
Call me and I'll come in front of the camera.
I'll give you some shampoo. I've got some.
At the Commando training base in Britain, 924 recruit troop are themselves just weeks away from deployment to Afghanistan. But Adam Collins, a former stuntman, shocks everyone with a highly damaging allegation against his training team.
For the past few months, it's been absolute hell, and questions have got to be asked. There's got to be something wrong.
The Royal Marines at Kajaki in southern Afghanistan clear a helicopter landing site in preparation for a major attack on an enemy mountain called Sparrowhawk.
The main effort ultimately remains the occupation of Sparrowhawk east and west.
Bertie Carr is part of the Royal Marine effort to defend the strategically vital Kajaki Dam and hydroelectric power plant from a Taliban desperate to control it. Surrounded on all four sides, the British must dominate the high ground. They already hold two of the highest peaks, Normandy and Athens. They now intend to take a third, Sparrowhawk, the next vital step in extending British control in the area.
The Taliban have effectively taken a stranglehold on the approaches to this area, and what we're hoping to see over the coming weeks is actually we're going to start pushing our influence out further and further to the north and to the west and to the south, we hope, deliberately targeting any Taliban strong points and undermining their authority in the area. The assessment that we've been able to make of the local population from the local workers, such as they are, is that the population are very keen to come and take up the jobs. They're very keen to escape from the authority of the Taliban, but simply they're too scared. The Taliban use some pretty brutal means to make sure the locals follow their instructions. What they're waiting to see us doing is taking on the Taliban at their strongest points.
The Marines are the main force fighting the Taliban in Kajaki, but they do have allies, pro-government Afghanis who also want to see the Taliban defeated.
There's quite a few players here. There's the Afghan National Police, the Afghan National Army. There's the Helmand Security Force, which is a local militia. So they're all on side. They're all here to protect the dam and extend the sort of security. And just to achieve what you need to achieve, you all need to work together. So
they're friendly.
They're very friendly, yeah. The first time I went up on that first patrol, a man puts his hand on my face and says, I would sacrifice myself and all my men before I would let you lose a hair from your head. And this is me, first patrol out. Haven't come under contact yet, but it's still all a bit sort of new to me. And you don't really know what to say to match it. Oh, thank you, I think. But that's how they do things. Their friends are their great friends, but they're great people. They're very, very welcoming. Just at the moment, though, this area is so complicated and messed up that it's just a shame.
Back at the Commando training base at Lympstone in Devon, 924 recruit troop continues to shrink as recruits get injured or fail to meet standards. Of the original 50, only 18 now remain. Those that hope to complete their training with 924 troop, like former stuntman Adam Collins, will be deployed to Afghanistan within 2 months.
A bit eerie, when you start reading it and you think, Jesus, when we finish, that's actually what we're going to be doing. It looks like they need our help out there. Well, they need all the help they can get, don't they?
Last 10 seconds. Got the detail.
Adam is desperate to become one of the Royal Marine elite because of the boost it will give him when he eventually returns to stunt work. But so far, it's not going quite according to plan for him.
Remember, fellas, you are trying to be Royal Marine Commandos.
Bastard 7.
As with anyone who falls short, he has to pay the penalty.
Kick your legs back, Collins. Kick them back both at the same time.
Bastard 12.
Bastard 10.
Bastard 30. Come on, open your legs. Big jump out. Big jump out. Not up, out.
That is now your new rifle.
It's covered in rust.
Clean it then.
Some of this shit really gets me down. Like, sometimes I just want to rap and just go home and get a fucking normal job and like leave all this fucking getting cold shit.
Next person come through.
Apart from the pressures of training, Adam is also missing his girlfriend, Mel. It's been an on and off sort of relationship for the last 18 months, but now Adam feels he needs her as never before.
I hate being without her. When we broke up before, I really thought we weren't going to get back together. Everything just fell apart. Sometimes we can't live with each other, we can't live without each other, you know? So we just got to try and work through our differences, which I'm sure we will. And just keep it together. Because we've both got our own problems that we need to deal with, but we're just helping each other out now. And she's been so good to me, like supporting me all the way through it. It's a lot to ask of somebody, but she helps me through it. Like when I feel low, just give her a call and she's like, it's always somebody to talk to, which definitely helps.
Back in the summer, Mel was the first person Adam saw when he went home on leave. This was a welcome break from the rigours of training for frontline action in Afghanistan.
It scared me at first when he told me that he was going to do it, because obviously, you know, it's a really dangerous thing to do once he gets out there on the field, but, you know, it's really real, and it will be, you know, 100% in my face when he does go, but I'm going to have to deal with it, and I will.
But he's going to be one of the best trained soldiers in the world.
Yeah.
So he's got that to leave back.
I think he is already. I do. I really do. I think even before he went, I said he would be one of the best. Yeah, if not the best. When he went down there, he was, you know, really fit, and I've noticed a big difference in, obviously, his body shape and stuff. Yeah. Like, he's come back a lot more lean and mean, haven't you?
Yeah. And you like this version, do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I just feel like it doesn't really matter what they throw at us. They can't kill us, so whatever they do is just going to make us stronger. My only worry about training is getting back troop. That's the only thing I ever worry about.
I mean, in other words, being put back a troop?
Yeah, I just want to stay as an original, like the whole way through.
You stay with 94 troop?
Yeah. Yeah.
Little did Adam realise it during his summer break, but training was about to get a whole lot harder. Eager to succeed because of the added kudos being a Royal Marine Commando would give him as a stuntman, he now finds himself only just hanging on to his place in the troop. Even his training team are beginning to think that his days in 924 Troop are numbered, and that he will be back-trooped, that is, demoted to a more junior troop. And anyone leaving 924 Troop is ritually blacked out of the troop photograph.
He's filling up from the bottom rapidly.
We can just join a little bit to it each time, can't we?
I think I'll do his boots as well.
I'll do it halfway up. Join them to the waist.
He's had a shocking few weeks. Poor shooting, general attitude. He wants to be a stuntman, and he's here to help his stuntman training, not because he wants to be a commando. And it shows when it's cold and wet, he's just not happy.
It's difficult for me because my end goal isn't to be a Royal Marine. So it makes it, you know, when the times are like really shit, it makes it hard to stay motivated when you know that it's not what you really want in the end.
I mean, it's all very well when he wants to mess about and play rugby with a water bottle, he's the fittest man in the troop. But when he sticks some weight on his back and get him on the road, and you know, when it's raining, then the starts happening, and then you just don't want to hear it.
But he thinks he's like an action man, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, fucker.
He thinks he's action man.
I'm not saying that he's not going to make it, he might just suddenly turn it around. But I think the way we treated him in the first couple of weeks, it wasn't beneficial for him as well, watching him do backflips off stuff, and it was hoofing. I wish I could backflip off the top of a Land Rover, but I can't. I know I can't. Telling him he was hoofing at week 1 probably wasn't a good thing.
Not a bad bit of entertainment.
Yeah. See.
The way things are going, it looks like Adam, once so confident, will have to turn more than a few somersaults if he wants to stay in 924 Troop as an original and be sent out to the front line as soon as he wished.
Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation. Through your goodness we have this bread to offer, which earth has given and human hands have made. It will become for us the bread of life. Blessed be God.
And on the front line, out in Kajaki, Bertie and some of his troop celebrate Holy Communion. In the briefing room, Marty Collins, the company commander, explains his strategy against the Taliban to pro-government Afghanis.
My overall intent is to expand the area that the government of Afghanistan dominates and influences. I'll remind you that my men were deployed here to improve the security situation here and specifically to create the conditions that would help the construction around the dam to restart. And where the Taliban want to stop us, we will fight them.
At the dam, one of the turbines is kept operating by a few loyal and courageous employees who often run the gauntlet of Taliban fighters just to get to work.
The problem here is every time they come to the checkpoints, the Taliban are holding them back, pretending to search the vehicle for extra time, and then they're actually firing at the British, knowing that the reaction that they get from us is that we're going to fire back the right to defend ourselves. And what they're trying to do is to get us to kill one of these, and then they can say, look, the British are killing innocent people. And you can see these people, you know, again, they're very friendly, they're well on side, and you can understand their concerns.
As with all wars, innocents can so easily get caught in the crossfire.
All I ask for you is that when you are going to have a shift change, that you speak to us, and I will do my bit, and I will tell our guys on the top of the hill, you see that black M vehicle, please hold your fire, even if we get shot at, okay, until they've actually crossed the line. We're here at the end of the day to get the security and to hopefully make your job secure, but also your families to come back here and work here.
I must apologise because I cannot explain all my plans or they will become widely known. I must ask you to trust me when I ask you to provide men. To start with, I just need 10 people to turn up this time tomorrow.
It is vital that the Afghan National Army and the police get as involved as possible in the fight against the Taliban. Because one day the British will leave Afghanistan and the government forces will be on their own. Part of the British mission is to get the Afghans trained up, but that won't be done overnight.
We have guns and we have very fit men, but without the knowledge and the Afghan voice that you guys provide, we do not have any strength at all.
The peace of the Lord be with you always.
And also with you.
Now let us offer each other a sign of peace.
At the training base in Lympstone, Orlando Rogers puts finishing touches to the half-blacked-out Adam Collins, now posted on the 924 Troop notice board.
Yeah, he'll see this. He knows it's only a bit of light-hearted fun, but it's a bit of a kick up the arse as well, you know. He wants to be a stuntman, doesn't he? So that's what he thinks it's all about. Knife between the teeth, underwater knife fighting. Being cold, wet and miserable, Collins. And he's slowly coming around to the idea, but not yet. We will see. Fucking gobshite.
Despite his defiance, Adam Collins still fails to impress.
I'm trying. It's not like I've lost my drive or whatever. I'm still trying really hard, but I keep fucking up a lot this week and last week. It's pissing me off really, really bad.
70, 80, 90, 20.
The punishments for misdemeanours and poor standards just seem to keep coming. Eventually, Adam is put on official warning by his troop commander.
Come and shut the door behind you, stand attention in the box. Quick Collins, you're on my warning for 1. Integrity to Corporal Glanfield. 2. Admin, your lack of wet and dry routine that you conducted. 3. Your motivation in a map reading stance. Your attitude to troop criteria fizz, which has been poor and somewhat dramatic. Quite simply, Collins, this is not a film set and you are not performing to the team. That's what I've put. Stop trying to impress the team with showmanship and give us some determination and balls in what you do, and you'll come off my warning. Okay, you're very much a camp soldier at the minute, Collins. And if you don't sort it out, then you'll be moving to a different troop. Okay.
Collins, you understand how severe, all right, the warning system is now. Okay. All right, because I think at the moment sometimes you just take it as a little bit of a fun and joke. All right, so you need to get a grip of yourself and a grasp and start getting amongst it.
Okay, come and read this. If you're happy with what I've written, then you'll sign it and you'll try and remedy the things I've put.
Things are not looking good for the former stuntman. His place in 924 Troop has never been less secure. The Royal Marines at their base in Kajaki, still preparing to take Sparrowhawk Mountain in the next few days, have a lot to do by day and by night.
Tonight there's a patrol out to recce this road which feeds into our position, and further down that road is just enemy territory. And with that you need overwatch, you need fire support going out, and you need coordination with the other elements like the Afghan National Police, the Afghan National Army, so that we send out teams to them to tell them where our guys are so that they don't engage them when they see them. And I'm going to be one of the coordination teams. I'm going out with a couple of the guys up to a position called Unknown Left, which is one of the Afghan National Security Forces positions, with an interpreter, and just sort of keep up relations with... there's a 10-year-old kid up there with an AK, actually, who's part of one of the militias, which is interesting. But the rest of them are about 30, and all with AKs and toothless grins, that sort of thing. They're great guys. I mean, they're all very, very friendly and everything. We'll meet them tonight. It should be interesting.
Plans for Operation Sparrowhawk are now being discussed in earnest. Every man will have his specific duty when the day comes. Not something that seems to be of any concern at all to the Marines' adopted dogs, who have free run of the base. Well, apart from top-secret meetings, that is.
The guys here will make their way across to Sparrowhawk east and west, which will then give us arcs to view and fire to the north and to the west.
The dogs, oblivious that they live in a violent war zone, simply assume that the Royal Marines have been sent to Kajaki to play with them. One of them is called Asbo because he's a complete nuisance, but it's the black one that has won the hearts of the commandos.
Yeah, tangy. You can see it's not clean. I'll probably be in trouble, not supposed to have dogs, but he's now a British dog and he's recognised throughout the local population as a British dog. Yeah. He's got such a good temperament, good set of teeth. He's so soppy. Shake hands? No, not today.
In Devon, 924 Troop are on an important tactical exercise called First Base. But Adam Collins has had to be left behind. On top of everything else, he's now sustained a knee injury that could threaten his position in 924 Troop after all. If it's too bad, he'll be back-trooped anyway, and like all injured recruits, be put into the remedial Hunter Company.
It's just so annoying. It's because it's like every time I take a step, it just feels like stabbing pain going through my knee. But it's not something that's unbearable. It's not like I can't walk. I've seen people a lot worse than me carry on. You get people with broken feet and stuff doing the 30 milers, don't you? So
these are important things.
Yeah. So staying with the troop.
Adam heads for the physiotherapist unit, determined not to be back-trooped through injury. Rick Groves is going to visit Militia House, a former sentry position for the Russians during their invasion of Afghanistan back in the 1980s. Situated just outside the British headquarters, it's now defended by a handful of pro-government Afghanis, who maintain a constant watch for the Taliban.
But basically, Militia House, the significance of this house, or the history behind this, is that when the Russians finally left, they left the Afghanistan sort of communist government soldiers here with a couple of advisors. The Mujahideen surrounded it, got in here. A lot of them were upstairs, but the ones they got downstairs, they tortured, skinned, pretty horrific what they did to them. There's a massive firefight ensued there. Once they run out of ammunition, you can imagine they went up there and, it's not even worth talking about what they actually did to them. But that's the sort of story behind this place. And there is quite an eerie sort of feel to it when you do come in here. And as you go up, you'll see the amount of ordnance that's been put into the actual building.
Everywhere, there are the sinister signs of a pitched battle and a desperate fight to the death.
You can imagine that coming up the stairs and the firefight and them actually trying to defend it. Get out the front of the building as well, front left, and on the outside of it, you see the amount of rounds that have been fired into it. Obviously that's the front sort of central position.
This bullet-pocked house is now home to a half-dozen Afghani militiamen, and one 12-year-old boy called Sasula, who boasts his very own AK-47. Gun-toting Sasula likes nothing more than to take on the British commandos at his favourite game, marbles.
Remember last time I had the 3 white ones, and you had the 3 blue ones, yeah?
This is not the ideal place, of course, for small boys. But Sasula, caught up in the fight against insurgents, is having to grow up fast.
I think I should let him win. Competitive edges in me.
In truth, he faces an uncertain, hostile and dangerous future with little to recommend it. But that is the lot of many Afghanis today.
You're the winner!
This is you have it. I have a lot of this.
No, thank you very much, but you have a short sword. I'm saying, they give you everything. They've got nothing much to give, but they always want to give you stuff. I'll give you some chocolate when we go back, okay?
What chocolate?
I've been with the Afghans now for 3.5 months, and I've got a massive respect for them. They're real friendly, warm people, but not only that, they are absolutely hard as nails. The living conditions, especially if you go up to unknown left, the Helmand militia position over there, they're basically what's best described as living in a sheet. All elements, pouring hard with rain, cold, wet, quite hungry, limited amount of diet, haven't been at home for 9 months, and then they get shot at on a regular basis with no night observation devices. So to me, they've got, my utmost respect, because I know that our British soldiers or people back home would not, tolerate those sort of conditions at all.
I think we would.
A whole world away in Devon, 924 Troop continue their exercise, first base. Adam Collins, on the other hand, is in the grip of the physiotherapist, who tells him that if his knee is not better by the end of the week, he will have to leave 924 Troop for treatment in Hunter Company. It's not what Adam wanted to hear.
I think if I went into Hunter, it would finish me. It's depressing enough as it is in this place, without having to be stuck around people that don't want to be there. I don't want that. So, for the sake of this, it's only a niggling pain. And I can get through any test that he throws at me on Friday. Definitely. Without showing any pain. So we'll see.
I'll look after it, I mean.
Yeah, I will. Rest. Okay.
Whatever happens, Adam is still absolutely determined that he's not going to leave 924 Troop. It's after midnight in war-torn Kajaki, and Bertie Carr is heading out on the night patrol to visit Afghan police positions in the mountains, from which he can monitor enemy activity. But someone's decided he didn't want to be left behind.
Tangy! Fuck's sake.
As the patrol, plus their canine reinforcement, move deeper into the mountains, helicopters bring in extra ammunition and supplies for Operation Sparrowhawk.
Yeah, who's that? Abdul Ali. How's it going? You well? Good to see you. You have to be very polite because that's the whole part of the custom. You can't just say hello, you sort of ask after his men, how they are, how he is, how his family is. It's a big process. And it goes a long way because a lot of their support is just due to the fact that they like us.
Suddenly, the Afghans start shouting between gun positions to announce that the Marines have arrived, much to Bertie's dismay.
That's a nice radio, boss.
Yeah, very nice radio. Jesus Christ. Their method of informing the other position that we were coming along is shouting across to them that a bunch of British soldiers are moving along the ridgeline. Now all the Taliban know as well.
After all the kerfuffle, and when Bertie thinks it's safe, he leads his men towards lookout positions from which they can monitor enemy movements. Even Tanguy helps keep watch, quite unfazed by the distant gunfire.
Tanguy, get out of the way. When we took over from the Paras back in September, Tanguy was about that big, so it's quite nice, you know, sort of seeing him grow up. There's a bit of morale for the lads. They look after him, but he's also bloody annoying and insists on coming out on every patrol. Still 20 Alpha. Yeah, there's a lot of gunfire, kind of region of the northeast century. Over. Tanguy, come on, stop it. 20 Alpha, that's all. Out. Tanguy, you're disgusting.
Bertie and his 11 troop continue to monitor the enemy positions firing into the night. And Tanguy, well, it's been a long day.
Grenade! Down!
924 troop have now progressed onto hand grenades. Dangerous to any foe, but dangerous also to any handler if they don't know what they're doing.
Next time, fucking hell. Bit of fucking oomph the next time. What you did? You went.
Yeah. Don't want any of that because it just drops straight down there when you do it.
Okay, Smith, come here. What colour do you want, Smith?
Then there were two.
Green one.
What colour green are they?
Bronze green.
Bronze green?
With
Good lad.
yellow stenciling cover.
Good lad. Right, check that over. Once you're happy with it, stow it away. On the command ready, just whip it out. Take the safety clip off. Remember to stow it away. Then take the ring out and put your finger in it. That's it. Cottle Adams will then put his hand on top of yours. Yeah. Okay, once you get the command throw, pull out the pin, check both parts, acquire your target, throw, shout grenade, watch it land, and then get down. You flapping, are you, Smith?
I will be, Corporal. First time for everything, though.
Yep, there is, you're right.
When these recruits get out to Afghanistan, they'll find that hand grenades are an indispensable part of their armoury. But not always to attack the enemy.
Yes, there is shady.
Hand grenades can have a wide number of uses, like fishing, for instance.
Good effort, lads.
The Marines in Kajaki can get very bored with military rations, so the occasional fresh fish supper is very welcome. And sitting for hours on the riverbank with a fishing rod, well, that's just not the Commando way.
Shower with it.
Right or left-handed thrower? What colour do you want?
I'll have a green one.
Green one.
Fuck off!
Check that over.
Hey!
Okay.
109, safety clip, pin.
It's a bit fucking perky in there, like.
Williams, you check that over now, yep? So when Cottle Adams gives you command ready, you just whip it out and crack on.
So the recruits of 924 Troop don't know it now, but what they're learning today could, amongst other things of course, considerably help to improve their frontline diet when they get out to Afghanistan.
don't get killed much quicker than being hit by a fucking grenade, do you?
But whilst the recruits of 924 Troop enjoy the thrill of hurling live hand grenades around, the news for Adam Collins could not be worse. Disguising his pain, he actually did manage to pass his medical, but only to find that he's been kicked out of 924 Troop anyway for missing exercise first base. He's been back-trooped, so his worst nightmare has come true. But because 2 other recruits also missed the exercise and have not been back-trooped, Adam is convinced that he's been victimised and has now written a formal letter of complaint.
I have numerous examples of how I have been subjected to bullying by the training team. However, my main concern at this stage is that I feel I've been singled out for backtrooping and wish only to return to my troop. I only ask that I may be treated in the same manner as others in my position. Yours respectfully, Recruit Collins.
We here at the Commando Training Centre, especially within training, dealing with young people of all backgrounds, take these very seriously. A lot of time there'll be no case to answer. However, it is all fair and above board, and I'll say we do take these incidents very seriously.
What you like want to put place?
I feel like they've wanted me out of the troop basically, and they've seen me off, and they have been looking for a reason to get me out, and it's just typical of their attitude towards backtrooping people. It's almost like a joke to them.
Collins, gone, thank the Lord.
To raise issues like this is going to cause animosity between me and the team. And if I was staying in the troop, I would never have done this. But I don't think it's right to just stand by and let it happen.
Right, stand up, shake your arms out.
Because there's going to be others.
Get this sleepiness switched off.
I'm sure that they will make it come across that I'm just being sensitive and it's just training and I should get on with it. But as I said, the seriousness of being backtrooped, you know, it's one of the worst things that they could do to somebody, because training is so stressful and intense as it is. To be backtrooped and be taken away from the people that support you, you know, it turns your world upside down.
And what's your feeling about your future? I mean, do you still want to be a Royal Marine?
Oh yeah, yeah, more than anything. This is just, you know, being backtrooped is just going to make things a lot harder for me at the minute.
Right, fall in.
I would love it just to pass out, just to prove I've got what it takes to do it.
Three days later in Afghanistan, Bertie leads his men and some government Afghan soldiers up a small limestone outcrop called Roshan Hill. This has been ordered to defend against the enemy.
Marine Lutley, Marine Ogden. HQ is going to be down in between the 2 gun positions. Yeah, if you move your Bergens down there, and we'll start sandbagging the position.
2 miles away, the main force of Marines has started the long-awaited assault on Sparrowhawk Mountain, and Bertie's been told to protect their northern flank against counterattack from the Taliban.
Our guys are on Sparrowhawk. You can just about make them out on the Sparrowhawk east and west. And they've cleared it of mines, and our teams have pushed onto it without a hitch, so far so good. We're building up this position now, the screen to the north. We've got 5 Afghan army armed with a variety of weapons, but yeah, I'll spread them around the fire teams, so let's just settle in. You can see them, my guys trying to deal with them without a terp. Richie Rawlins over there. It's quite entertaining.
So the old sandbags are about the best protection against incoming?
Yeah, they're pretty good, yeah. And they're quite easy to do, so it's the most effective way of building up a defensive position. It's bloody boring.
Sandbags, still one of the best ways of protecting yourself against gunfire. 924 Troop are also manhandling sandbags, amongst other things.
Do some bicep curls.
They're on a firepower exercise, finding out just what damage different weapons and bullets can do to a range of objects.
Their friend for today. Nice meaty pig's head.
And that's for what?
That'll just be the impact of what a bullet will do to flesh and bone, really.
different calibers. See, it's quite weighty, quite meaty, pretty much like a human head.
Once we've done the shoot, on completion, all right, you'll then go down and have a look. All right, so obviously you can see the effects of the rounds. All right, all in the movies, hiding behind car doors and all the rest of it. All right, you'll see the effect that the round has, yeah, and then obviously all them movies and stuff, a load of shite. Okay, so obviously front rank sit down, fellas, second rank just kneel.
As Bertie and his men continue to build their defences for Roshan Hill, the news comes through that the Taliban, down on the plains, have started to fire on the Marines on Sparrowhawk Mountain.
Steel 0, this is Open 5-5. We're getting shots fired from the eastern tree of 2 trees. Returning fire. Wait out.
Stand 2, can you pass it on down there? Right lads, weapons and helmets on. You lot, keep eyes on 2 trees, they've got a fire position down there. Jacko, make sure they know not just to shoot if it kicks off. Ibrahim.
This call sign is under extremely effective enemy fire. 7, roger, so far over. Roger, over.
Bertie and his men take immediate cover behind their sandbag defences. In a battle zone like this, direct fire, shrapnel or stray bullets can fly anywhere. In Devon, the recruits watch as the instructors unleash bursts of gunfire on the sorts of things anyone might choose to hide behind in a firefight. What would you choose? A flimsy car door or a solid brick wall?
Still doing, Opal 55, contact, wait out.
Contact, Opal 55's in contact. That's the Sparrowhawk West. Yeah. Sparrowhawk West is in contact, lads.
915.
Bertie and his troop keep cover and stay alert, although the action is still some way off.
10 trooper being engaged from the base at Sparrowhawk.
So far, Bertie's biggest challenge today has not been the Taliban, but his own Afghan soldiers, who are proving badly equipped and desperately inexperienced.
Oi! Oi! Get down! Get down! Yeah, whatever. The thing is, if he gets shot, then it's our bloody Kajaki system he has to use when our troops are in contact.
Modern high-velocity weapons are lethal. If they don't kill you, they will do very serious damage indeed. Your choice of shelter or cover is all important. Even brick walls are next to useless. Nowhere near as effective as the trusty old sandbag.
You'll get a lot of this stuff just naturally out in the field anyway, right? You'll always get sand or soil and stuff like that, right, which build up, give you good protection, all right? So even with all them rounds there, fellas, yeah, all the various different types of rounds, all right, as you can see there, all right, nothing whatsoever, all right, got through the sandbags. All right, fellas? All right, fellas, make your way back to where you were.
It's the end of the firepower demonstration, and the recruits now have an idea of the devastating effects of modern firepower. Not only the damage they could inflict on an enemy, but also the damage an enemy could inflict on them. Something they'll experience for themselves when they get to Afghanistan. Well, maybe. Right now, Bertie and his men can only watch on frustrated as the distant firefight rages.
Open 55, we're still getting effective rounds. Picking over our heads. Over.
So, Bertie might be on the sidelines, but at the Commando training centre, Adam Collins is right in the thick of it. He's about to be told the outcome of the investigation into his bullying allegations.
Do come in and take a seat. Relax, take your berry off. Okay. Right, basically, just so you're aware, I've investigated, sought witnesses, made a report, and it's been deemed that your initial allegation of bullying is not to be founded. Okay? It is found on investigation that the reason you were backtrooped was because you missed an exercise. The case you cite of 2 individuals, nothing to do with you. This is all taken on a case-by-case basis. The blacking out of your photograph, okay, I spoke to the troop commander. His explanation of this is that he wanted to give you a bit of a kick at the backside to motivate you to have a better exercise. Okay.
Up 1.5, currently the activity is very quiet. Over.
From Roshan Hill, it's clear that there's a lull in the distant action around Sparrowhawk, so Bertie tells his men to take a breather.
Jacko, stand down, just keep one man out watching on sentry. Everyone else just stay low, over.
Yeah, that's for everyone. Keep one man on watch. Rest, just stay low.
It's time to grab some rations, but now it becomes evident that the Afghan soldiers have not even brought anything to eat. They have yet to learn that frontline soldiering is all about being self-sufficient and being able to look after yourself.
They haven't brought any food. Yeah. I'll get in touch with the sergeant. Jesus Christ.
But at the end of the day, there's only so many times you can tell them, and suddenly it's always a hard lesson that they learn. You know, you don't bring the rations out, you go hungry. But they don't flag anything up, everything is inshallah with them, and really not the attitude. Yeah, frustrating job.
Well, food or no food, Bertie and his men are learning one of the most exasperating truths of war, that it's 10% action and 90% boredom.
If on these occasions, or any more occasions whilst you're here at CTC, you feel that you have been victimised, bullied, harassed or anything else, you must make a complaint as soon as you possibly can. If you are at this point in time, okay, although you're saying yes and nodding, are still not happy, okay, once again, as I point out to you, you have the right of redress, okay, which must be done correctly through the system, okay. Any more questions from you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, happy with what's been happening?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Right. That's me and you finished, young man.
Okay.
Back to whatever you're doing,
Yes,
okay?
I guess I have a sixth sense, because I know exactly what they were going to say. I knew the outcome of this before I even started. But my intention was only to bring it to the attention of others, and hopefully no one else will go through what some of us have been through. So I'm happy. I was happy either way. I'd won whatever the outcome was, because it was all I wanted was for next time they do it, they'll have to have a good reason.
Friendly forces moving through.
It's hard for the recruits when they get knocked back. I think we recruit Collins. He wasn't obviously strong enough to just take it on the chin and go, I'm happy with that for whatever reason, even though he might not be happy with the decision. He should respect the fact that we all make professional decisions. We sit down, we have meetings about them and make the decisions. So when he made these allegations, it pissed us off, to be quite frank. I mean, we give all our best to the recruits. Training's hard at times, but if we do something, it's for a reason. If we're shouting at them, if we tell them to do something again, if we give them a bollocking, if we thrash them, or if we're kind to them, it's all for a reason. It's all to get them to the stage where they'll take up a position as a Royal Marine in a rifle unit.
Right, lads, 50-50, fresh mag on!
I think the main problem that I've had with the training team is that I see them as men, not as ranks. Although I have respect for what they've done and who they are, to me they're still men. I have to speak to them as men, and I think they're not used to that. I think they're just used to yes sir, no sir.
Show your weapons a point in safe direction. Unload!
I'm not trying to be confrontational with them, but I like to have an answer. If I feel like I'm being treated unfairly, or if something's not right, I like to find out why. And that's exactly what I've done here.
So, training to be a Royal Marine Commando has its own extreme pressures and frustrations. But so too does being on the front line itself, as 11 Troop are finding out. All day they've watched their comrades successfully assault Sparrowhawk Mountain, but Bertie and his men, to their great consternation, have yet to fire a shot in anger.
Sir?
Yeah?
Equal us want to know the ammunition and casualty count. Is that from Pete? Dunno.
Tell them the whole troop, okay, ammo, none.
No change.
No change.
Fucking...
What do you think? We've been
Is that a
fighting a
fight?
pitched battle all day.
That's a bite, isn't it?
That's rubbing it in, isn't it? What have you lads been up to all day?
Any casualties? Need any ammo? No, you fuckers, we've been doing nothing.
But Bertie speaks too soon. Within 24 hours, he and his men are fighting for their lives.
Get down into cover. Get down into cover. Down.
Adam Collins, after suffering a number of injuries, is still in training to be a Royal Marine Commando.